It's 2010. Heineken's CEO walks into a boardroom and announces they're about to spend $7.6 billion. Not on marketing, not on new breweries, on a company most people have never heard of. This single purchase would make them more powerful than Budweiser in America, more dominant than Corona in Mexico. But here's what nobody saw coming. This wasn't just about buying beer brands. They were about to control what 2 billion people drink, and their competitors had no idea what hit them. Every major beer company was fighting the same war wrong. Budweiser was throwing $500 million at Super Bowl ads. Corona was doubling down on beach marketing. Meanwhile, Heineken was quietly doing something nobody understood, something that would make those marketing budgets look like pocket change. But first, they had to solve an impossible problem. How do you make people choose your beer when they've been loyal to local brands for generations? The answer would shock the entire industry, but it almost destroyed them first. What I'm about to show you will change how you see every beer brand forever. That local beer you love, there's a 30% chance it's actually controlled by this Dutch company. Tiger Beer in Singapore, Sol in Mexico, Red Stripe in Jamaica, Birra Moretti in Italy, all Heineken. And that's just the beginning of this story. Here's what Heineken figured out that nobody else did. You don't fight local brands, you buy them. 1968, they acquire Amstel. Smart move, but not revolutionary. Then something changes. A 22-year-old named Freddie Heineken takes over and decides to play a completely different game. While Budweiser is spending fortunes convincing Americans to switch brands, Heineken does the unthinkable. They start buying their way into countries where switching isn't even an option, but their first target almost destroyed them. What happens next breaks every rule in the business playbook. America, 1970s. Imported beer is less than 1% of the market. Every expert says it's impossible. Americans drink American beer. Period. Heineken disagrees. They launch the most expensive marketing campaign in beer history. But here's the twist. They're not trying to compete with Budweiser. They're creating an entirely new category, premium imported beer. If this fails, the company goes bankrupt. If it succeeds, they unlock the richest beer market on earth. Plot twist, it works. Too well. By 1980, Heineken owns 40% of all imported beer in America. But success creates a new problem. Everyone now knows their strategy. Competitors start copying them. Corona enters the US. Stella Artois follows. The advantage disappears. Market share starts dropping. So Heineken does something nobody expects. They abandon their own playbook and invent something even more ruthless. What happens next will make you question everything you know about business strategy. Because while everyone thinks Heineken is a beer company, they're actually something else entirely. They're becoming the Amazon of alcohol, and they're about to prove it. 1971, Nigeria. While every beer company ignores Africa, Heineken sees opportunity. They don't export Dutch beer. Instead, they build a local brewery and create Star Lager. It tastes nothing like Heineken. It's brewed for Nigerian palates, by Nigerian workers. Within 5 years, Star becomes Nigeria's favorite beer. But here's the genius part. Most Nigerians have no idea it's connected to Holland. Heineken just discovered how to be everywhere and invisible at the same time. Singapore, 1972. They partner with a local brewery. Tiger Beer is born. Ethiopia, 1973. St. George Beer launches. Rwanda, 1974. Primus hits the market. Each one tastes completely different. Each one feels authentically local. But they're all connected to Amsterdam. All using Dutch quality control. All generating profits for the same shareholders. Heineken isn't conquering markets. They're becoming invisible. But their biggest test is still coming. 2010, the FEMSA deal. $7.6 billion for a Mexican company nobody outside Latin America has heard of. Wall Street thinks they've lost their minds. Why would a Dutch beer company spend that much on Mexico? But Heineken wasn't buying Mexico. They were buying access to 500 million people across Latin America. Dos Equis, Sol, Tecate, Indio, Bohemia. Overnight, they control Mexico's beer market, plus a backdoor into the US Hispanic population. But that was just phase one of their master plan. Here's what that deal actually unlocked: instant access to every major US city with a Hispanic population, control of spring break destinations from Cancun to Cabo, plus something nobody calculated. Mexican beer culture was about to explode globally. Corona was already proving that. But now Heineken owned 5 Mexican brands, not just one. They didn't just buy market share, they bought the future. But the real genius move was what they did next. While this is happening, they're pulling the same trick everywhere. Italy, they buy Birra Moretti. Suddenly, authentic Italian beer is Dutch-controlled. Poland, Żywiec becomes theirs. Eastern Europe's favorite beer, owned by Amsterdam. Czech Republic, Krušovice joins the empire. Even the country that invented lager isn't safe. Each acquisition follows the same pattern. Buy local, stay local, control globally. Consumers have no idea they're drinking Heineken-controlled beer. Today, Heineken controls over 300 beer brands. They operate in 190 countries. That's basically every country on Earth. 85,000 employees worldwide, 28 billion euros in annual revenue. But here's the insane part. Most people drinking their beer don't know it. You could travel the world, drink only local beer in every country, and still be funding the same Dutch company. If this is blowing your mind, hit that subscribe button right now. Because what I'm about to show you next makes this look like child's play. Seriously, the next part will change how you see every restaurant, every bar, every sports event you've ever been to. But their strategy gets even more brilliant. Heineken doesn't just own beer brands, they own the entire drinking experience. Bars in London, restaurants in Lagos, distribution networks in São Paulo. When Manchester United plays, you're watching on Heineken-sponsored broadcasts. When you go to Formula One, it's Heineken tracks. They don't just control what you drink, they control where you drink it, when you drink it, what you watch while drinking it. This isn't just market dominance, this is market control. But they're not done yet. Here's something that will blow your mind. Heineken makes more money from non-alcoholic drinks than most companies make from beer. Heineken 0.0, Birra Moretti 0, Amstel 0. They're betting that the future isn't just about controlling alcohol, it's about controlling refreshment. And while competitors fight over declining beer markets, Heineken is building the next empire. What's their secret weapon? Data. Every local brand they own teaches them something new. What do Mexicans drink in summer? How do Nigerians celebrate? When do Italians switch from wine to beer? They're not just a beer company anymore. They're a consumer behavior database with 300 brands feeding information back to Amsterdam. This data lets them predict trends before they happen, launch products before competitors know there's demand. But their most shocking move is happening right now. While you've been watching this video, Heineken has been buying something new. Not beer companies, not bars, not even beverage brands. They're buying technology companies, data analytics firms, supply chain startups. They're preparing for a world where beer is just one part of a massive lifestyle ecosystem. And most people still think they just make green bottles. Today, Heineken's biggest competitor isn't Budweiser or Corona. It's Amazon, it's Netflix. It's any company that controls how people spend their free time. Because that's what Heineken really sells. Not beer, not alcohol, but lifestyle moments. And they're better at it than almost anyone else. Here's proof. Name 5 global beer brands. I guarantee at least 2 are secretly Heineken. But here's the part that keeps their competitors awake at night. Everything I just told you, it's not their final form. They're currently working on something that could make their beer empire look small. Smart bars that know your preferences before you order. Delivery networks that compete with food apps. Social platforms built around drinking experiences. They're not just controlling what you drink anymore. They're about to control how you socialize. So here's the question. Does any of this matter? Are you okay with one Dutch company controlling this much of global drinking culture? Or is this just smart business in a connected world? Next time you order a beer anywhere in the world, check the fine print. There's a 1 in 3 chance you're drinking Heineken, even if the label says something completely different. The question is, does knowing change anything? Let me know in the comments what you think about this invisible empire. Next week, I'm exposing how Coca-Cola makes Heineken look amateur. Trust me, you won't see your favorite drink the same way again. And in 2 weeks, the Nestlé investigation that will make you question everything in your kitchen. But here's what I can't tell you in this video. The 3 companies that secretly control 80% of everything you consume daily. One of them owns brands you used this morning. Hit subscribe and the notification bell if you want to see behind the curtain of every major industry. Because once you see how deep these empires go, you can't unsee it.